The water is deep, dyed, and blue. Would you like to use surf? Yes, no. And it was just like, I just remember my world like stood still and like freeze frame, zoomed out, had an out of body experience. I was like, I've never seen this before. What is this? What's going on? And I hit yes, and then just does a little animation for that. Whoop. I was like, oh my god! Hey everybody, Multiple Blah here, and I'm back with another episode of Sketchy Stories. I am here joined by Lemi. Hello, Lemi.
Hello. Yeah, good vibes here. Just positivity.
Woo! Yeah, so just to clarify what we're working on, I'm working on a Rosalina sketch at the moment. And Lemi, what are you working on?
I'm working on artwork that's going to be in a future video on my channel. Maybe.
https://user/Lemia Crescent.
But I don't know. I'm like really hating how this is turning out. Honestly, like I really hate it. There's some deep hatred coming out of me. This should have been done 80 years ago, but I just absolutely, I'm not having this. I don't know why.
You're just seething with resentment.
Oh, I'm mad. I don't know what I'm doing, and it's just making me mad.
Lemi, I have a question for you. Which of these do you think would be better compositionally? She's looking at the star. Just imagine that there's a star over here in her hand.
Yes.
Or she's looking at the viewer. It's like, I have a star and you don't. Loser.
Probably looking at the star.
That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to make sure. I was like,
I think because the star that she has eyeballs, so it could be like interacting with her. That depends if the star's interacting with her, I guess.
It's just screaming violently. Oh, for anybody who doesn't know, so I didn't have a drawing initially to work on today, so I'm kind of just piecing this one together in a sketch, but I actually feel like that'd be interesting. Like you get to see some of my actual character sketching process, you know, instead of just like, oh, it's a thing that I finished sketching and I'm just gonna go straight into the coloring. So yeah, in this episode you get to see me sketch and suffer and make mistakes and erase and do things over and over again.
It's beautiful. I love watching you fail and then not fail and then do wonderful things.
It's my favorite thing to do. No, and I'll kind of just show you guys, because I usually make a couple of thumbnail gesture sketches and stuff. So I made these. So you'll see like, oh, this was just kind of some thumbnailing stuff. I decided to go with this one, the blue one. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on now. I did my best. I don't know why I do this, but every time I draw a character, it's just like they get like hair extensions the size of a house. Because it's like her hair is not that long.
Her hair is pretty long though, and it's like stringy.
Okay, so isn't Rosalina like canonically like 8 feet tall or something?
Yeah, she's supposed to be really tall.
Yeah, she's a
she's
tall
a
girl
heavyweight Mario
with
Kart
tall hair.
Get out of my way, Mario!
Just, like push it everyone. Losers.
Just, oh my gosh. Yeah, but
slipped on me, hurt.
Yeah, no. So we were kind of just thinking that along the lines of this episode, it'd kind of just be more of like a stream of conscience. Maybe talk about some games that we like and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just figured it'd be relevant in my case because I'm drawing Rosalina. I feel like it should be pretty obvious for me to say like, oh yeah, I think she's the coolest princess out of all of them.
Well, that's not really saying much.
There we go. That's an hour's worth of content. Just say that over and over. I think she's pretty cool.
It's like, oh, whatever. You're annoying. Like, I understand you're supposed to be like the sporty fit one, but like you're just kind of annoying. No one cares about you. She's like not the main character in any game. She's just there to play tennis and scream that she's Daisy.
I'm Daisy. I think Toad is my favorite princess. Toad is definitely my favorite princess.
I like Toad.
He's just like, hello. Oh, jeez.
Okay. I don't like Toad. I love Captain Toad. Captain
Captain.
Toad is like, I'm in love with Captain Toad. I think he's adorable. I think he's just a national treasure. I mean, he can be an international treasure because he's from Japan, and I love him so much that he should be a treasure here.
He is the best. The no, there's no quite. That's a statement. He's the best.
He's like, yay for adventure! He's like,
Hooray! And you're like, no. I just love his like. Clearly smokes way too much, but you know he can't on the Nintendo property while he's voice recording.
He's the best. He's the best. I freaking love him. I have a stuffed animal of him. I'm like, oh, Captain Toad, snuggle me at night when it's cold.
Don't worry about it. It's like, thank you. Your like soothing, relaxing voice will help me find peace in the storm. He's like, hello.
When life is hard, I cuddle my Captain Toad even harder.
Just be like, No, I remember in Luigi's Mansion, that's the first time I really like that he ever really stood out as a character to me. And he was annoying as hell because you needed to constantly save him. But I did feel like Luigi did, you know, a good thing whenever you'd help him. And he's just like crying and emotionally destroyed, you know, in like a dark room. And then you help him. He's like, oh, thank you, Luigi. You're just like, oh.
You know, that vaguely sounds familiar, but I don't remember it at all. I love Luigi's Mansion. I don't remember Captain Toad.
Oh, not Captain Toad. It's just Toad.
I don't know why. Oh, was it like, they were like random toads? Which one was that had the toads in it? Two?
Yes, the where you need to like rescue the other toads.
Yeah.
I think that's two.
Captain
But
should be in every game. Why is he not?
no, but I just remembered like the way that it would work in Luigi's Mansion is when you save a toad, you kind of get a different save point, you know. So he's just like crying in different places, and he's like, "Oh my God, Luigi! You want to save to your memory card on the GameCube?" It's like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's just like meta aware, like he's super aware. This is all a video game, Luigi. This is all a simulation. You're just like, okay, Toad, you're scaring me.
Dude, when you save a toad, an angel gets his wings.
The Toad.
They're so cute. They're cute. Oh, Toad.
Yeah, no, and then Peach, I think she's cool, but I think she's kind of annoying just because like Mario works so hard to save her, and she's like,
Whatever.
bye.
I'm not gonna give you any. But you work so hard to save me every day of my life, but you know, I'm not gonna go
I'm
out
not
with you
saying
for
they
everything, or...
I'm not saying they need to get together. She doesn't need to do anything for
Oh
him, but
no, she kind of owes him at this point.
it's just like a thank you, maybe you know, upgrading your security.
Yeah, like she's got to do something for him. Maybe like buy him a Ferrari. I mean, I don't know. Do something for the poor guy. But I feel like he barely even gets a thank you if he gets one at all.
Yeah, no, it's just like, how did you get that stolen? Oh, Bowser walked in. What do you mean? The door was wide open.
Her security guards are like toads. What are they gonna do?
Hello, Bowser.
Okay, we're not gonna fight you because you don't hurt me. So you might just take her.
Yeah, take her. We can't stand her. No, I think that her design is good. Her character is very. I don't know. Nothing about it stands out to me.
Well, I mean, she's just supposed to be a generic princess. I think our standards of princesses have come a long way, and she's still the same character that she was in Game 1. Except now she has a voice, and her name is Peach instead of Toadstool. She's come so far.
Character development. Yeah, no, because I'm just imagining like Bowser kidnaps her and she's like, let me go, don't want to go to this castle anymore.
Aww.
Let me go, or Mario kick down your door.
I wonder why like he would capture all the toads and then just like put them in like fortresses.
I don't know. Like, Bowser would need to clear those too. Is there a back door? Can you imagine Bowser clearing some of those obstacle courses? He's on the gate. He's like, with his claws, just like, oh no, oh no.
You're like, I want to fall. Damn it! Not the
No. Why were these obstacle courses designed for an Italian plumber?
Yeah, that's one thing I never understood as a kid. Is like, why would a plumber be able to do any of this? He's just a plumber. And like, I understand I'm looking too far into it. Same time, why?
I want answers, Nintendo.
I mean, I kind of do.
No, so for me, I remember like the Mario game I played the most when I was a kid was on a certain Christmas. I actually got a Game Boy Micro, which was one of those Game Boys, but it was like a little one. It was like in between an SP and an Advance, so it had an LED screen still. It had its own charger, which, trust me, was a big deal because I got super annoyed of always changing the batteries in these things. And it was like a I'm trying to think. Like it was a little bigger than like a mouse. Like if you look at like the size of a mouse, it was just a little bit bigger than one of those. Um, but yeah, this thing was like portable and it was dope. And the game I got for it was Super Mario Advance, I think. But yeah, in that game, that's the one where you rescue the Yoshi eggs. You know, so there's like a different egg in every castle, and then you can like skip worlds and stuff because
Love Yoshi.
yeah. But yeah, that is the game that I played the most as a kid, and I just played way too much of that game. Like I had all the secret keys, I had all the secret power blocks and stuff, and I was just like, I love this game. So by the time I got to Peach, like I didn't even care. I was just like, it's a fun game.
And then you found Peach, and you're like, "What do you want?
What do you want?" She's like, Mario. It's been 10 years. I don't know if I've already explained it on Sketchy Stories, have I? But the story of like me learning surf and getting stuck forever.
I remember you telling me the story. I'm not sure if you said it on Sketchy Stories or not.
We'll just have like a rehashing, just be like, yep, we're only a handful of episodes in.
We're still thinking about that, folks.
I'm still like, oh no, because I'm thinking like, since I'm drawing like a video game character, we can have more like video game related stories, just like experiences with video games.
Well, go on,
okay.
tell the guys if we haven't already told them.
Yeah, no, and Lemi, if you happen upon a story that you remember, just interact, tell me to shut the hell up and like tell your story. So this you know, same deal. I had a Game Boy Micro, decided to get games for it. So, you know, after I had played Mario for a handful of whatever, decided to go to GameStop. They had a particular blue game cartridge, which happened to be Pokemon Sapphire. That is one of my first ever Pokemon games that I played. Up until that point, I had played like Gold and Silver, and you know the graphics were on those. But with this one, it was like full color, so I was like, "Holy shit!" And it was just melt my brain. Like, I was just super impressed like with the quality of the game. But I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And for the record, like Gen 3, my favorite gen. Anyway, I got the game and I played it, but the thing is, with my Game Boy Micro, I had lost the charger for it, so I needed to use the Game Boy Advance SP. No, just the Game Boy Advance. That's the one that still needed the batteries in it. But anyway, I played this game, you know, and this was before like I had the internet or anything for like walkthroughs. So when I got stuck on something, I would just wander around forever. And because I was like 8, I was a stupid child who really sucked at problem solving, especially in video games.
Oh.
So I got to the point at the 4th gym after you fight Watson where you're supposed to learn the HM for surf. And then, you know, you cross a little patch of water and then you go on to like literally the second half of the game. So I had 4 badges in, but I was stuck, you know, because I didn't know how to use surf. I didn't know I had to teach that to a Pokemon. And then, you know, like surf across. That's how you overcame obstacles and stuff. Point is,
That's so sad.
I thought that this was like other RPG games where you needed to level up. So I was like, oh, I guess my Pokemon aren't at a high enough level. So, you know, I had this Swampert level 36. That's kind of where he's supposed to be at, you know, that gym. And I was like, all right, we just got to grind. We just got to level up. And, you know, I kept looking and I kept looking and looking, and I kept leveling up and I kept leveling up, and I was just like, when am I gonna get to a high enough level? Like, this game isn't fun anymore. Point of the story: I have 4 gym badges and a level 100 Swampert because I don't know where I'm supposed to go, and I was just like, oh, I guess this Swampert isn't strong enough. Let's go. Maybe I don't have enough Pokemon, so I caught more Pokemon. So at this point, I have a level 100 Skarmory, a level 100 Flygon, a level 100 Swampert. And by the way, like, I'm not fighting level 70 Pokemon. I'm not fighting the Elite Four. Like, I am fighting level 40 like Pokemon. So just the sheer amount of like grinding I put into that game, I think I was clocking in like 300 hours, and I didn't know what to do. Anyway, you could say that at this point, I'm sick of this game. So I just put it down, leave it alone for a couple of years, you know. And
And
literally
then
the
every
reason
guy he meets, he's telling people how awful the game is.
I hate this game. Like, I really like the game. That's why I played it that much, you know, because I wanted to see what would happen in the story. But I just remember I always looked longingly at that box, being like, when will I run into that Pokemon, you know, Kyogre, the one that was on the cover. I was like, when will I run into you? You're the most evasive Pokemon I've ever met. Anyway, fast forward 2 years. I stopped playing the game just because my Game Boy Advance, the batteries died. And at one point I was just like, hey, Mom, can we go to the store so I can like get some batteries? And she's like, okay, whatever. Anyway, I bought an 8-pack of batteries, and because I was like, oh yeah, no, we ain't messing around now. Like, we really, I just remember I put it down and kind of just left it because I kind of stopped playing that many games altogether on a Game Boy at that point because I was just kind of sick of like over leveling everything. But yeah, so I finally got the Game Boy again. I got the batteries, and I realized like, oh, hey, you can teach your Pokemon moves. You can do all of this and that. And, I was kind of, whenever you get back to a Pokemon game, it takes a little bit of retreading just to remember kind of like where you were before and what you were doing. Anyway, I found out that you could teach your Pokemon moves because, now I have the infinite wisdom of a 10-year-old and not the stupidity of an 8-year-old. So I was like, oh, so I teach my Pokemon moves and stuff. One of them just happened to be Surf for Swampert because I wanted to give him better moves. And I just remember I crossed that stupid little flank where Watson's at. I see a pool of water, and I was like, oh, I have a fishing rod. I can try fishing. So I fish, and I keep fishing and stuff. And then at one point, I accidentally just click and don't hit select, and it says, the water is deep, dyed, and blue. Would you like to use surf? Yes, no. And I was just like, I just remember my world like stood still and like freeze frame, zoomed out, had an out of body experience. I was like, I've never seen this before. What is this? What's going on? And I hit yes, and then just does a little animation for that. Whoop. I was like, oh my god!
The whole world has opened up.
No, like the best way to describe it is like Columbus, when he found this land,
Oh my god.
had less of a big deal than I did. Real history was being written here, folks. So I surf around, and then I go to this other island. I tread new territory, and I remember what's there. I see a bunch of berries, and the last berries I had picked had been so long ago, I didn't even know what these were. So I pick more berries, and then I see Gabby and Ty, which are the 2 news reporters. Like, I remember this day vividly. I was like, oh my god, it's a whole new world. They're just like, oh, do you want to have like a double battle? So they have their weak ass level
for years.
They have their weak ass level 30 Pokemon, and then I sent out a Swampert and a Skarmory, both at level 100, and they're like, what in the name of the sweet Jesus? Anyway, complete sweep them, and then from there I just start playing the game, and I'm like, oh my god, I can surf. And then I just went through and I did all of this surfing stuff, and I was killing Pokemon you're not supposed to be able to kill because they're supposed to be at like level 40. But I was just like running into
went to the Elite Four and didn't even bother to kill the other gym people.
Yeah, no, the game was super easy after that. And I remember when I ran into Kyogre at that point, like the final boss of the game, I expected him to be at like level 200 or something, but when I saw 70, I was like, okay. I don't remember if it was 45, 50, or 70, but I just remember I was like, I feel like over prepared.
I can just imagine this whole thing happening to you.
I was so
It's not
dumb.
even far fetched. I'm like, yes, I can see this. It's
No,
adorable.
but the added challenge with Kyogre is I had played the game so extensively since I got it, because I saw it was like a whole new game at that point. I was searching everything just because I had spent like 300 hours of that game on the first island.
A whole new
So,
world.
so yeah, I explored everything. I did everything that there was to do. I played all of the contests. Like I just did everything. And I remember by the time I was getting to Kyogre, I was on my last set of batteries out of that 8-pack. So when I was trying to catch him, I had the flickering red light of
Oh
death.
my god, no.
So not only do you hear like the custom Kyogre thing of like the dan 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 dan, like just hearing that, I was also trying to like hurry up and catch him. I was like, he's the final boss, not because he's strong, but because this fucker won't get in the Ultra Ball, and I'm running out of batteries.
That sounds so stressful.
And this was within the span of 2 weeks, and I felt bad just asking my mom to get more batteries right before I got batteries. So I was like, I have to catch this thing now.
Imagine you running up. Mom, I'm flickering. Help me.
Oh my God, Ma.
He's like, my son.
She's just like,
my
yep,
boy.
that's my son. He ain't a smart one, but he's mine.
Nice boy.
No, so that is that game took me 2 years to beat. Never had a Pokemon game take that long, and that was the one I played the most. So I was just like, Sapphire and Emerald. After that, I made it a tradition for myself. It's kind of impractical, but every time I get to the Elite Four, I need at least one level 100 Pokemon, and I've done that in every game ever since.
That doesn't even sound like fun. You're just like, I just have to live up to what I did when I was younger.
No, but the thing is, I enjoy the satisfaction of one-shotting everything. So I was just like, I always am like at least 20 levels. Yeah, no, I'm always like 100, not 100. I'm always at least like 20 levels higher than anything I'm fighting in the game at any point. So, it's not like he's level 60. I have 8 gym badges. Let's, grind forever. It's just like, no, they're always like 20 levels higher. So by the time I'm done with the last badge, they're at like level 80. So it's not too bad at that point. How about you?
How about me? I forgot what we were even talking about. I'm like so involved in your Pokemon.
I was so mad. Oh, and then I fought Rayquaza, and I caught him, and I got all the Reggies and stuff. But yeah, it's a lot less difficult when. Anyway, that Swampert was my favorite Pokemon. I nicknamed it El Mudfish, and I've renamed every Swampert I've had since then El Mudfish. So it's like, it was a horrible time, it was a horrible struggle, but that was like one of those character forming video games. Because to have the patience to do anything for 300 hours, especially at the age of 10, I feel like is a big deal.
I'm just thinking about like video games that I've dumped a ton of time into, and I'm like not even thinking about MMOs. I guess that doesn't even matter. But as a kid, I dumped a ton of hours into Final Fantasy Tactics for like, I think it was like Super Nintendo. And I maxed out the hours. It was like, I think it only went to like 999 hours, and then it wouldn't count anymore. And because I wanted to have every character, every job, unlock every ability, which was just like a giant, colossal waste of time. And I would just kill everything on the level and then maroon this one enemy left and then surround him with characters. And then like it would hit characters, and then I would use like the lowest level potion to get the experience from the job.
Mm-hmm.
And I would use that experience to like get abilities after. So I would just sit there for hours healing people with low level potions. It was a problem. But it was a disaster. I don't even know why I did it. I just loved it so much. I just couldn't let the game go. I was like, I'm going to play you forever until I think my brother sold it, and then my heart broke.
Yeah, no, that's I don't know, because I feel like when you're a kid, you have kind of those games that you're willing to dump a lot of time into just because you have that amount of time.
A crazy amount of time. An amount of time that you really shouldn't be putting into any video game.
No, another game that I have just nothing but pain revolving that memory is it was on the GameCube. It's a game called Ultimate Spider-Man. I actually streamed it a while ago, but it's pretty much a game where you can play as Spider-Man and as Venom. But there's a thing called races in that game, which are just time trials for Spider-Man web slinging, you know, where you get from point A to point B, but there's like 26 checkpoints in between. Anyway, one of those races is against Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four. But the thing is, the more of those races you do, the more speed challenges you unlock. You know, so once you run out of races, you go beat Johnny Storm, and then you unlock the next batch, and then you beat him again and unlock the next batch. But this last race, which is, you know, like the pivotal end race of the game, he moves so goddamn fast, which is unfair because he flies and you're just like, I like web slinging. Anyway, so I was web slinging and
Oh, were you?
yeah, I just couldn't catch up to him. And the thing is, like, again, this is another key event that I just got to read video game instructions more because I always miss the important info. Anyway, I tried like 100 times, at least 100 times for hours on end, and I couldn't beat him. And it just got to the point, you know, where I just wanted to play the story mode in that game again. This was one of those old ones, so you couldn't just level select. You had to do the whole thing again if you wanted to fight him again. So restarted the game. And I found out in the second mission that there was an important detail I overlooked. There's a thing called a web boost and a web climb, which are things you're supposed to know by the time you get to him. So I was like, you mean to tell me that I beat all those races
The hard way.
Yeah, no, and they were all super difficult too because I wasn't using this technique. So it's like every single one of those hard mode races was taking me like at least an hour for something that should take like a minute and a half, you know?
It's hard to listen to this.
I hate it so much. Anyway,
Poor thing.
Yeah, no, so I found out about that because I restarted the game and I was playing it again. And then, you know, of course, this time around, now that I know how to web boost and how to web climb, I'm just like destroying all these races and stuff because I've already done them all before. So I'm like just going full until I get to Johnny Storm again. Because the moment I learned that, I was like, I know how I can beat him. And again, I still didn't have the internet at this point, but I was like, I know what I must do.
Oh my god!
So, but
when like he finally saw you again, he's probably like, "Oh no, he's learned."
Yeah, no, he just sees me swinging up at like Mach 5. He's like, "Oh no!"
He's like, "I don't want to race you anymore." Right.
And I'm just like, and then I landed. I'm like, race. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, but it still took a couple of tries just because he's still really fucking fast. But I destroyed him. I mopped the floor with him. This is like character development at its finest. Some people have meaningful, lifelong experiences which help them improve as a person by interacting with other people or overcoming a physical obstacle. Not me. I beat Johnny Storm.
It was the worst thing I ever had to face in my entire life. Can you imagine if that was your life and the most defining moment in your entire existence was beating that guy in a video game?
Yeah, no, I'm just like at the gates of hell, and they're just like, "How do you play it?" It's just like, "I kicked Johnny Storm's ass."
Just see me.
Did you see it? And they're like, "Yeah, no, that was pretty impressive." But really, that's all you got?
Yeah, the tutorials are kind of important. I guess. That was my takeaway.
I learned.
Many years it took me to learn instructions and manuals, and I finally gotten to the point where I can beat Pokemon.
No, but I mean, there was also kind of a language barrier too, because I didn't 100% understand English. It's like I understood enough to talk to people, but I would watch a movie, in English and understand maybe like 80% of it. at least of the like words that they would say and stuff. So I was just like, oh yeah. So there was like a little bit of a language barrier, but I was just like, no, take the time to learn it when it's trying to teach you. Don't just like power through it. You won't have fun.
Just imagine having a language barrier and you're like, what is surf? What does that mean?
Just oh no.
Especially like if you don't live in Florida or the coast or near water. Like, how often do you even use the word surf?
Or like no, because the way that the game was describing is like you can use TMs and HMs to overcome obstacles. It was like
Stupid. Should throw that in at the end.
no, and I just heard like, huh.
When I
Yes.
was younger, and I'm sure I probably was younger than you when I played my first Pokemon game. I never like understood because it was like TM and HM, and I'm like, okay, technical move. What is this? What's HM?
Hidden move.
Hidden?
Mhm.
Why?
Because you need to earn it. Special power. I don't know, man. I didn't make Nintendo.
Like as a kid, I used to be like, I don't understand like why. Like I know you have to differentiate between it, but like I don't know. I never got it.
You're just like, what the hell is a What's a
Yeah, and I only know English, so there's no like excuse here. I just didn't understand what they were going for. Okay, so one game that I absolutely loved was Mario Kart. And I loved kind of like all Mario Kart games, but there was one that I especially had like a strange affinity for, and that was Mario Kart for the Wii. And I would play as Princess Peach, and I would get like I think it was like the mock bike or something, which made really, really tight turns.
Mhm.
And I just freaking destroyed everyone. And it was great. And I used to play online all the time. And then you'd get to a point where, like, if you didn't get in first, you lost a bunch of points. But if you got in first, you got, like, very tiny amount of points. And I think that the highest you could get was, like, 9999 or something.
Mhm.
And I was, like, 9, I think 8 something or whatever. But, like, I was almost maxed out, but I kind of stopped playing. But then they got rid of the online game thing, and I got really upset.
You're just like, no, my hours.
That was just one game I was really, really super good at, and I loved having that bike because you could cut the corners really and like save a lot of traveling. So a lot of like with Mario Kart, it's like you drift across the thing and blah, 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 but like with this, you get like make really tight corners and get the boost at the same time.
Mhm.
So I wasn't like drifting across the stage, like I was like fly ahead. It was great. Oh, it was amazing. And then after that, I tried to play the new Mario Kart for like the Switch, and I just can't, like, I just fly all over the level. I don't understand it. And I know that you can equip different parts to your bike to get different stats, but if you make it so you can handle better, you go like 2 miles per hour. So it's just like you can't catch anyone because you're just so freaking slow. And then if you want to not be slow, then you're just all over the road like a psychopath. And I never really understood the controls of that game. I guess like I'm turning into an old person where all of a sudden I just can't do it anymore, and I don't know what happened. I was so good not too long ago.
I feel like the Mario Kart for the Switch is like very difficult though. I don't think that's just you, because I did a lot better on the DS one than I did on the Switch one.
The
Times were
DS
simpler.
one.
Times were simpler with the DS.
Is that like Mario Kart 8 or something?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I was good at that one too. And then like this new one, I'm just like, this isn't even fun. I can't even stay on the stage. Like this is stupid.
I'm just like, oh my god.
I think that a major problem is like you want a game where you feel like you can control the character, not that everything is completely uncontrollable. And like with the Wii version, if you got in first, you know, you would get hit with tons of blue shells and whatever. And you would only get kind of like bananas. But that was kind of like I understood that because I was in first, everyone else was getting the good items, they were trying to catch up. But I don't know. It's just in this other game, it's just like I don't understand what's happening, why I can't stay on here. There's just too much pandemonium. It's not fun because like you can't really control yourself as much. Like it's a lot more of the game controlling your fate than it is.
Oh, you might
driving down the
have
road.
also had auto steering on, because that's a thing that you could turn on and off.
I don't think it was on. I think I just suck. I'm pretty sure I'm just really bad. And
A thing that caught me by surprise was that time that we were playing Super Smash Bros. And you know, it was like with Fox and Mickey. It caught me off guard how like, you know, in the beginning couple of rounds I could tell that you were still figuring it out. So I'm like, okay, after a couple of rounds, like, you know, we'll have the hang of this again, and you know, we'll probably need to like step it up. But it got to like a point where it literally I don't know if you've seen the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, but there's a point like where Broly, like, he's never even been in a fight before, but he's still owning both of them, and Vegeta's just like, it's like he's learning to fight as he's fighting. And that's just how I felt, because I was like, Lemi was not fighting like this a minute ago.
no, it was, I guess I kind of remember the buttons again because it always takes me a while to be like, what did the buttons do? Because I've played so much Smash Brothers on the Nintendo 64 that I want to use those buttons, and since then they've changed the button alignment. So I always mess it up because I'm just thinking like this is the button that I'm going to use, but so I have to learn the controls, and then I'm also a really bad loser. So I'm like, I have to destroy people. Like, and I know that makes it not fun for other people, but like, I grew up in a house where my brother would play a game for 5 million hours. Then he'd make me play with him and he would destroy me. So I have like this fighting spirit of I must survive somehow. So I get like very intense. I don't like losing, but I try to be a good loser, but I'm just like, no, I have to murder them. Like, it's either you or me, and it's not going to be me anymore. I'm like so traumatized.
No, because I remember I went from like, you know, just chilling, having a good time to like, okay, now we're sitting up to, no, we're not relaxed anymore. I have assumed gamer stance.
Now it's a fight to the death. It's no longer fun. It's intense.
No, I just thought it was funny because just from how it went, like at the beginning it's pretty chill, and then it just kept getting like harder and harder and harder. It's just like, what is going on?
Like, I must kill you. I must kill all of you.
Did Lemi just go Super Saiyan? I'm so confused.
Oh, it's bad. And like, remember I mentioned a while ago that there were those people that I knew from high school. They had a party, and we were at their house, and then they set up their Nintendo 64 from a long time ago. And this was when I was in high school, and everyone's like, oh yeah, let's play Smash Brothers. And they're like, oh, all the girls don't know how to play, and they're all like, I don't know how buttons work, because I didn't really know any girls that liked to play video games back then. Video games weren't like really super mainstream at that point. If anyone played them, it was guys and me. So like they turn it on, and I like pick Pikachu, and I just destroyed them all. And it was amazing, and I had so much fun ripping them apart. But you could tell because they had some stuff to drink, and they took some drugs, I guess. I don't know. They were so confused, but I had a great time. Don't do drugs, kids.
Otherwise you'll get your ass kicked in Smash Bros.
But I destroyed them. And then like one person was like, what are you on? I'm like, I'm high on life.
Don't be mad at me because you lost, you fucking loser.
Oh man, like, and you think I'd be like, well, I'll be a little bit nice and kind of let them win because they're, you know. So I think maybe
Out
some of
of
them
it.
hadn't done their business at that point. So
Oh.
some of them were sober, but I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't my problem. I just wanted to play Smash Brothers.
I just imagine in your case, you're just like, all of you are unworthy. Bring me the next challenge.
Yeah, they're like, what? How much have you played this game? I'm like, yeah, I used to put it on 99 lives for every NPC and then just destroy them over and over and over and over again for hours on end, like some sort of sicko.
You just wanted the computers to suffer.
Yeah, like as a kid, you just have like the propensity to just hang in there for extremely long periods of time, doing something mindless that, you know, I don't even know why or how I could sit there for so long, but I did. Kids are crazy.
I had a fighting game that I just played ridiculously too much. That was Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Try saying that 5 times fast. I tried
to play those games. Did they get better with the handling with the controls?
Mm-hmm. BT1 was kind of clunky.
You would press the right button and it would take like an hour for the character to turn around, and I'm like, I can't.
BT1 was kind of clunky, 2 was really good, and 3 was the most polished. 2 was my favorite because its story mode was absurdly long, which for me was nice because it'd just be like, oh, it lines up all the fights for me. I don't care who I kill, I just need kill. No, but same deal. I would set the computer difficulty as high as it would go, and I would just fight him for an indefinite amount of time and try not to get hit. And the moment I got hit, I would start over. So I'd just be like, by the time I fought other people, it just wasn't fun for them.
Yeah, it's like my brother. He would play things like GoldenEye and whatever on Nintendo 64 and get really good at shooting people. And then he invite me into a thing and just shoot me over and over again. And that's when I got traumatized of gun video games. First person shooters, that scared me because I was hunted. It was horrible.
Oh no. I don't know. I personally just think it'd be more fun if the other person could like fight back at an even rate, you know, because I think it's funnest when, you know, there's a give and take and you try to predict what the other person's going to do and stuff.
Yeah, there was none of that.
It was just a one-sided, like, check this out. I don't know what to do for her dress because I want it to be like a fancy version of the dress, just because I'm kind of drawing her again. It's like, oh, this could be kind of like a redraw thing, but I don't know if I want to make this dress as complicated as the last one.
I mean, I've drawn that character so many times. You could really make them complicated, or you could make them super simple. It's up to you.
Just be like, it's up to you. Woo. No, because I feel like in the beginning when I was starting Painterly, I didn't know how to render things out really well. So I was like, oh, you know, an easy crutch for making the drawing look involved is to add a lot of detail. But now it's like it's not necessarily how much detail you add, it's just how well you render it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, dang. Because the other one, like, it looks like it has a lot more going on than it does, but a lot of it's just like minute, super small details that don't really add to anything.
I'm kind of like, I don't really know what I should be doing with this thing right here, though. You ever like have those moments where you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing, so
who am I? Where am I?
I'm having that moment where I'm like, I'm kind of bored. I don't want to finish it. It's not finished, but like I don't. I'm kind of done with
finished.
it.
It's finished, but you don't know what to add to it.
Well, I mean, I could always kind of. There's nothing to make it 5 million times better, which is what it needs. Like, let's be honest here. Like, it needs like to be better. But that's just not going to happen. So I'm kind of like, well, where do I just say, you know, I don't care. This is half done. Just say, okay, I'm done. Bye.
We'll call it there. It's good enough. No, I'm just I don't know. Like with dresses and stuff, I feel like with the bodice part of it, that's the easy part to design. But then for the dress part of it, I'm just like, brain no here. Where brain go?
Does one make it? Floofy or not floofy?
Just be like floof, extra floof, only floof.
Do I
Don't want
make
it
it
to be
look like a tutu?
Woo. Yeah, no, but I really don't know. So I'm like, okay.
All right, what
I don't
kind
know.
of background are you gonna have? Is it gonna be like a starry sky sort of thing?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like in the other one, she kind of looked like she was just floating in space, but still kind of standing on something. On this one, I'm just like, nah, just embrace the full like floating in space aesthetic.
I don't know. I'm like having a hard time looking at Instagram and stuff because I feel like everything is starting to look the same to me because I think I'm at that age where just like seen it, seen it, seen it, seen it. So it's all like the same, including my artwork. Like everything's just the same to me. And I'm just like, I have a
What do you
hard
mean by
time.
like the same though? Like people are drawing the same characters over and over, or the same compositions and stuff over and over, or
Like the same way of rendering things, the same art styles. Like you could tell like they've seen the tutorials, like they have the same inspirations. They're trying to look like this person or do that, or like there's only so many styles out there. You like, oh, that's Steven Universe, but they're like, this is my art style. It's like, no, that's Steven Universe. Sorry. I've seen it. So has most of the people on the internet. At least they've seen pictures of it. They know what it is. Like
yeah, no,
I don't know.
I kind of know what you mean though, because I mean, even with my style, mine falls into that too of like, oh, people that are just like realistically rendered, but like still with the manga influence. It's just like there's Rostras, Wallab, Artgerm, Sakimi-chan, all of them. It's like, I mean, nowhere near as good as they do it, but like you see a lot of it.
Yeah, but like with Rostras and Sakimi-chan, they look completely different.
I know, but they're still going for the same kind of like, oh, it's painterly.
Like a semi-realistic thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
Whereas
know,
in
but
my
there's
case,
a
I'm
lot of
just like,
ones
it
that are
just
kind of
looks
like they don't
bad.
have a distinctive style, so it just ends up kind of looking exactly like the one that has like the more polished or distinctive looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or like they're just blatantly saying like, oh, this is my style, but it's like obviously Steven Universe, where you're like, yeah, okay, your
Like
style.
I don't know how to like describe it, but I call it the webtoon style, which is it's kind of like Steven Universe. It's kind of like Disney-ish, but like with a little bit of manga involved. I don't know. I just look through webtoon and I see a lot of the stuff that is kind of similar to that. Not that it is a bad thing, but I'm just like, oh, I see a lot of it. It's just I don't care for the style, so
Yeah,
I'm like, oh.
it's not like a bad thing. It's just like I've seen it, you know?
But
So
it
it's
is a
not as
thing, yeah.
like interesting because like you've already seen like a rendition of it. Everyone's like, "Oh, they draw it in their own. You can't copy. You just draw in your own." It's like, "No, that looks like you all know what the quote good version of it, which is the original one, is the one that inspired everything else. Like you know what that looks like. So like don't act like you're so super original about it.
I should just start drawing in like an Amazing World of Gumball style.
I don't know. I feel like I'm old and jaded. It's like I can't be impressed by anything anymore.
Back in my day,
Back
art
in
had
my day, it was Disney and Sailor Moon.
and they did it better.
Yeah, that was better. I mean, and then you look back at like other things and you're kind of like, oh, that's not that great. But like at the time, it was great because it was what you had. But like now it's become like that's been around a while. So everyone has like their version of it. And it's just kind of like, okay, I've seen all of this now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just becoming more difficult to please.
You're just like, this art isn't very palatable. I mean, in my case, I don't know. I follow like a bunch of people where I can tell that they draw. I don't know if this makes any sense, but I can tell what program somebody used when they draw their picture just because of the way it looked. So I'm like, oh, that one's Clip Studio Paint. Oh, that one's Krita. This one is, Paint Tool Side. This one's Photoshop, and I can kind of tell. It's just like, how long have I been staring at this that I just know that that's what they use?
That's weird. I mean, I guess it's true. Like when I see people use Procreate, And then I'm like, is that Procreate? And then I look and they're like, it's Procreate. I'm like, oh, I somehow knew that, and I'm not a digital person.
It's like, huh, no. But I mean, again, isn't bad. It's just I can tell. So in my case, it's not like, oh, I've seen all the art that there is to see and it's all the same. But it's just like, oh,
Well,
no, I noticed
more like
certain...
art styles, not as much about like what tool they were using to make it.
Yeah, no, because I do an amazing thing of like, oh, I follow people on Twitter and they're also insanely good that it's very disheartening, and I love it. Because I know some people are like, oh, like, don't always be looking at the top, like look at the progress that you've made too. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. But I just love seeing drawings from people who can kick my ass. So I'm just like, that's cool. Just because I'm like, oh, well, maybe someday I'll be able to do that.
Maybe someday I can kick my own ass.
That's the end goal.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. One day I will destroy myself.
Loser.
If I ever start stealing Steven Universe, can you be like, Lemi? That's not you, that's Steven Universe. I don't become delusional.
No, I'll just be like, looks great, Lemi. Keep going.
Thanks. Such a true friend skill.
Just be like, I love it. The art is great. Do it. Just always.
I love Steven Universe art. I'll just let her think it's her own thing.
And you're just like, I drew. No, I don't know. Because there's a difference between like, oh, it's a clear inspiration and you're fine with it. But when you're touting like, it's the most original thing that's ever been done. This story idea has never been done. And that's not just for like Steven Universe. That's for anything. It's like, take it easy. Because we both know that's not true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure mine's just like generic anime. Like, I don't think there's like an anime that specifically looks exactly like generic. I'm not good at drawing anime eyes, so they look terrible. So that's why I'm fairly confident. Because everyone else can draw eyes better. So I'm fairly confident that but I don't know. Like, I know it's generic, but at least it's not like, oh, this looks exactly like this artist, because that would drive me nuts.
Yeah, no, because I remember like a lot of the manga that I used to look at when I was a kid. I was like, how the heck did they do that? And now I'm like, oh, no, I kind of have an idea of how they did that.
All of a sudden, I'm not impressed.
Oh, no, it's still like impressive. It's still good, but it's just like less, there's less mystery to it because you've been drawing all this time too.
Yeah, you can kind of understand how things were made. I think that's like kind of part of the fun, though. It's just like when you can understand how something was made. That's just like, oh, I can do that.
I'm learning.
Like, maybe it's not as good because obviously it's the original, but like you could remake it and be like, I could do that. It wouldn't be that fantastic because the original is always going to be better. But like, I could try to do something like that, and I have an idea of how I could do it.
Yay.
Instead of just like, oh, I wish I could do that.
If only I could do that one day. No, I'm probably gonna leave this skirt part of figuring out what the heck I'm gonna do with this for later, because I'm just like, I've kind of just been moving in circles for the last little bit. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. I will link Lemi's stuff in the description, so y'all will be able to find it. And do you think this drawing is going to be uploaded by the time this is up?
I don't know when you're going to upload this, so I can't.
In like a week or so.
My picture? Yeah. Your picture? Maybe, if you don't give up on it.
It's just, no, absolutely not.
Well, I mean, sometimes you don't like something like Isabel and then you trash it.
Yeah, just be like, nah. It's not worth the 10
I'm
hours.
not feeling this.
It ain't feeling groovy, Mr. Krabs. But no, I'll link Lemi in the description. And if y'all have any, I don't know, what are your thoughts? Do you have any crazy video game stories that y'all want to share?
Oh my god, I thought you were gonna say, do you have any thoughts? I was like, oh, that's kind of sad.
Do you think things with your mind?
Oh,
but
have a mind of your own.
But no, but for the people in the comments, if y'all had any thoughts about any of this stuff, just let us know. We would love to hear them. And if you have any topics that you think that we should cover, also let us know. And we will see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.